Hi, I'm Dr. Carmen Imes, Associate Professor of Old Testament at Biola University's Talbot School of Theology. Welcome back for another Torah Tuesday. We're continuing our study of the Ten Commandments in Exodus chapter 20, and today we're going to tackle the parents' command in verse 12. But before we do, I just wanted to let you know I'm making a special announcement at the end of this video, so please watch to the end to make sure you don't miss anything. As usual, I'll begin by reading from my own translation of the Hebrew, Exodus 20, verse 12. Honor your father and your mother, so that your days may be long upon the ground that Yahweh your God is giving to you. All right, this is the second positive command in the Decalogue. The first one was the Sabbath command, which asked the people to set apart a day to honor as the Sabbath and to rest. This one asks them to honor parents, just like they're honoring one day of the week. They're honoring their parents. Now, most people assume when they come to this command that this is the command addressed to children. But I want you to notice that there's no attempt to gather a different audience here. God doesn't say, okay, listen up, kids, this one's for you. Rather, it's most likely that this command is being addressed to the same people who all of the commands are addressed to, that is, the adult Israelite males who are heads of household who are gathered at the mountain. Now, wives and children are also present, but the commands are formulated in such a way so as to rein in the power of those who are leading the household and make sure that they have their family's best interest in mind and that they are providing for the flourishing of everyone in the household. We saw that especially last week with the Sabbath command, where the head of household is told to make sure that every member of the household can rest, even the draft animals, even the foreigners who are attached to the household, even servants, even children. Everyone gets a day off. It's not just dad who gets a day off. So here, what would it mean to hear this command to honor parents as a command addressed to adults? Well, to honor one's aging parents, and that's what it would be in this case, they would be nearing the end of their lives. To honor one's aging parents was an essential ingredient in maintaining a stable society and in ensuring that the faith is passed from one generation to the next. In ancient Israel, families were the primary social units on lots of different levels. And I'm drawing here from Christopher Wright's fantastic Exodus commentary for Zondervan in the Story of God series. He says, he lists 4 ways that families or households were the primary building block of Israelite society. Number 1, elders who performed judicial roles in the community were taken from the elders of each household. Number 2, military units were clan-based, so each clan offered up its fighting men as a military unit. Number 3, land possession was based on clan inheritance that's passed on from family to family. And number 4, parents were the primary religious teachers in ancient Israel. They were the ones whose responsibility it was to pass on the faith to the next generation, both by living faithfully themselves and by talking about God's commands with their children as they walked along the road and as they lie down and as they stand up and as they eat. Throughout their day, they're supposed to be passing on the faith to their children. So this is most likely upholding the centrality of the nuclear family, and by nuclear I mean the extended family actually in ancient Israel, who would have been living in one household together and would have been organizing their economic life, their religious life, their neighborly behavior would all be family-based. And so to honor the parents is a really important part of keeping that social fabric intact. Honor may also imply not just the way you talk about your parents, but also it probably implies physical sustenance. Adults would have been responsible for providing food and clothing and other needs for their aging parents who were no longer able to provide those things for themselves. And we have examples from ancient Mesopotamia of particular expectations for the amounts of food and oil and clothing that one would provide for their parents. So this honor is not just lip service, but it would translate into tangible action to care for parents. There is a serious penalty attached to dishonor of one's parents. It's the death penalty. And that's not, again, if we're thinking about this as adults who are honoring their aging parents, we're not talking here about toddlers who throw tantrums. There's not a death penalty for toddlers who throw a tantrum against their parents and bring dishonor to them in the shopping mall or something. No, this is talking about elder abuse. If someone is mistreating their parents or neglecting them in their old age, a form of elder abuse, that is not to be tolerated. So each member of society is supposed to be looking out for not only their children, but their parents. It's interesting that the command includes honor for both father and mother. It's not just the father who deserves honor, but father and mother. And I think that shows us the need for both parents to be involved in passing on the faith to their children, and then for their children to care for them in their old age. The promise that's attached to this command, I think, is often misunderstood. It sounds like if you honor your parents, you're going to live to a ripe old age. But I don't think that this promise is directed at individuals who will have an individually long life. We can all think of examples of people who died young but were good to their parents. This rather is speaking collectively. You as a society will have a long tenure in the land God promised if you maintain covenant faithfulness. That is, if you maintain faithfulness to the covenant that's been passed on from your parents, and it will keep on getting passed on. If each generation honors their parents, then the covenant will be honored, and then you'll be able to stay in the land for a good long time and not be sent out into exile. I think that's how we're supposed to understand this. So that is the parents' command. I am in the midst of learning what this looks like at a new level. My parents are semi-recently divorced. It's been about 2.5 years since their divorce. They're in their 70s, and I'm realizing a different weight of what it looks like to care for each of them and to walk with them through various medical challenges, emotional, spiritual support. And it's not like I can just send a text now and then to say, hey, thinking of you, but it involves tangible involvement in their well-being, helping them to flourish. And so it's a joy. It's a joy to step into that role, and I think it's one that the Bible upholds as important. Okay, now for an announcement before I let you go. This past week, a new course was released on a new platform that I recorded, and I wanted you to know about it. So some of you may have heard of the global learning community called Admirato. It was formerly called NT Wright Online, and it's been sponsored by the Wisconsin Center for Christian Studies. They've asked me to come on board and begin making courses. So previously, Admirato has only had courses by NT Wright, and then more recently by Esau McCulley. I'll be doing courses for them every year for the next 5 years on the Old Testament, and we recorded the first 3, and the first one has released. It's a course on the life of Moses. We'll be talking about his calling and vocation as a leader. We'll talk about the various aspects of his life that we encounter. He's one of the major characters in the Torah, and if you've been tracking with me through Torah Tuesdays in Exodus, this will be right up your alley. We'll be able to talk about some bigger picture issues with the life of Moses that don't come up as easily on a micro level when we're going verse by verse. So you're very welcome to access that. There are 3 ways to get plugged into Admirato. First, there are free resources, lots of them to get you started, mini courses, free ebooks, blog posts, different resources that you can access for free. Then there are courses that are pay as you go. So you pay one fee and you get access to that course, and you can work through it as many times as you'd like. And then there are monthly partnerships that give you access to all of the courses. So it's like a subscription. So if you decided to become a monthly partner of Admirato, you would not only get access to my course on the life of Moses, but also all of the courses that NT Wright has recorded and the courses by Esau McCulley. So I hope that this is a resource that's going to be such a blessing to you and to others going forward. The Life of Moses course is the first one I'm releasing, but there's a course coming up on Old Testament law and how Christians should navigate and respond to Old Testament law. Next spring, there will be a course on the Torah or the Pentateuch coming out, and we're recording 3 more courses next year. So watch for those to be rolling out in the years to come. Very excited to participate in this platform with a global audience of lots of eager lay people who want to keep growing in their walk with Jesus. So welcome aboard, and I hope you check it out. Have a great week.